I walk into the store and there is a rack of dresses on clearance that caught my eye, simply because there was a black dress right in the middle of the flowery, lightweight dresses that clearly did not belong. And so I went over, I had a look at the dress, and I held it on the hanger, and I thought, oh, if I ever needed a black dress, this would be the one I might choose. It was well sewn, it was very comfortable fabric, I liked the design, but I didn't need a black dress, and so I put it back. And as I walked away, I heard the words, "I want you to buy that black dress. You are going to a funeral."
Wow.
And my head just kind of flipped around, and I thought, who said that? And there were people in the store, but there was no one within speaking range. And I was kind of weirded out by that and continued to walk away, and the words repeated, but now this time kind of like a ticker tape in my head, and I read it. And so before I knew it was happening, my feet are off to the change room, and I find myself standing in front of a full-length mirror wearing the dress. It felt so comfortable, kind of like a hug. But I thought, what am I doing? I don't know anyone who has recently died. I have no funeral to attend. And I already have a black dress in my closet. What am I doing?
So you buy the black dress, you go home, you're with your husband, a police officer in California knocks on the door and tells you guys you have to phone the Calgary Police Service. I'm sure there was instant panic there.
I just felt like my feet were frozen to the ground. Fear was strangling me. I really didn't know what this was about. And so when Carrie got connected by phone to Sergeant McNaughton in Calgary, it was not what I heard Carrie really say, but as he just held onto his head and said, "Not my son, not my son." And immediately I knew that Jordan had died.
And he had an accident at work here in Calgary.
Yes, he was working for an environmental company. They were at a smokestack in central Alberta, and he fell 116 feet down an elevator shaft and died upon impact.
And then you had to work your way back to Calgary. Before you did that, you had to call Elise to tell her that her husband of 12 days was killed. That must have been the worst phone call you ever had to make.
Well, Elise was working at the time, and so my voice message was left on her phone, and I was actually praying that she wouldn't call back, that her mom would reach her in time to tell her the news, because I thought, I don't want her to hear this over the phone. And yet she did call back, and it was the most difficult conversation I've ever had to make, to gently try to tell this young woman that she's now a widow.
After less than 2 weeks of marriage. How did that challenge your faith, Shirley?
Well, you know, it was, first of all, I had the really tangible gift of God of a little black dress to wear to my son's funeral. And that certainly gave me a lot of confidence in knowing that God is with me and He will never leave or forsake me. And certainly I clung to that through the funeral and the first few weeks. And then it's like, when the shock of grief starts to lift and you realize all that you've lost, I just fell into a crisis of faith. I thought, oh, I can't believe God would allow this. I know He is all-powerful, He's sovereign. So for Him to not step in and save my son, it felt like indifference or apathy. And I couldn't bear that. And it just really made me angry. Seething rage might be a better description.
Yeah. But you did get through.
I did.
How do we become, really helpful to people that are going through grief?
Well, first of all, I have to say that before my son died, I was one of those people that didn't know what to say or to do that was helpful for my grieving friends. And my friends have taught me how important it is to come alongside. And your presence is certainly very, very helpful. But some things that you shouldn't say, like "at least." Any phrase that starts with "at least," just remove it from your vocabulary.
Yeah, like for your former daughter-in-law, I guess you'd say, well, you're young, you can get married again. That's you can't say that.
Well, yeah, they'd say, at least you're young, you'll find another husband. And she just wanted to scream out, I don't want another husband, I want Jordan. Or saying, well, at least you had him for 23 years. Well, that's true, but it's not helpful. It actually diminishes my loss to offer a silver lining of sorts. Or at least you have other children.
Yeah.
That's not helpful.
And before we go here, we'll just hit one more. People who think grief has a timeline have never suffered profound loss. Grief can often last a lifetime.
Absolutely. And I think for myself, my heart won't heal completely until heaven. And I have had to reconcile to that. I used to think that after a year or so, it'd be good. Not the case. And certainly the deeper the relationship, the deeper the grief.
Shirley, you seem like now you've gone through this process, obviously. How are you doing now?
Well, thanks for asking. I certainly have grief triggers that come out of nowhere, and I've learned to just roll with it instead of regretting it. I feel like I'm doing well because God has given me so many opportunities to recycle my pain for His good purpose as I participate.